YOLO! This is a video I've been wanting to make for a while, especially with GTA 6 announcements and now what Sony is doing. I'm an avid gamer myself, and I look and I see all these warning signs. And I do not like the path that gaming is headed down. But not just gaming, media as well, for physical media, movies, books, TV shows. Our rights as consumers are almost non-existent when it comes to digital media. You see, when you purchase something digitally, for some strange reason, you don't actually own what you purchase. Instead, what you're doing is you're purchasing the right to use the license while it's available. Many people were given a rude reminder of this when Sony decided to pull over 551 Studio Carnell movies and TV shows from their PlayStation Store, including ones that people have already purchased, and they will not be getting a refund. They spent their hard-earned human dollars buying movies or TV shows, only to then have them taken away later and be told, well, what you actually bought was a digital key that allowed you to access these things until we took it away, and you do not get any type of refund. On top of that, Sony is also planning on removing physical games from their actual PlayStations, as starting in 2027 or 2028, they are going all digital now, no longer having disk drives, or even making new discs for games. You will buy a digital access key to play the game until your account gets banned or it gets taken away or a slew of other things. Which means you also cannot play that game on other consoles, unless you have your account signed in. So no longer are the days where you bring your game over to your buddy's house and you game over the weekend. On top of that, people do get their accounts banned all the time because of mass reportings in lobbies. Now, I'm not saying that they're toxic and deserve it, but sometimes people gang up and false report. So what happens if I'm not a PlayStation guy, but let's say, for example, I was. What happens if I bought, say, $200 worth of games on my PlayStation that are connected to my account, and then I go and absolutely decimate a team in whatever game you pick, and the enemy team decides to mass report me? I get my account banned or blocked. Now I gotta deal with all that headache, and I can no longer play my games on my console because I don't technically own those games. My account gives me permission to access them. Now, Sony wasn't actually the first one to bring these predatory practices to gaming. I saw this coming a while back because it started with Nintendo. Nintendo were the first ones to start selling game cartridges, which were purely just access keys to digital content online. The game is not actually in the cartridge that you put in the Switch 2 itself. On top of that, they are also bricking Switch 2s, making them unusable if you connect to the internet and the device registers that you've done anything to it. So if you play a modded game or you do any kind of technical stuff that most normal players wouldn't, but still, your device that you bought with your money and you own could be permanently shut down by the company if they don't like how you used it. They are the ones who started that trend, and now Sony is jumping on board and taking it to the next level. And then we have all the stuff with GTA 6 as well. But looking at these things, I'm very upset with the way gaming is going, and I need these companies to fail so we can start moving back towards a power to the players kind of mindset. And when I look at all this, there's just one thing that goes through my mind. If buying isn't owning, piracy isn't theft.
Yo ho, all hands, hoist the colors high, heave ho, thieves and beggars, never shall we die.
Now, if you're an old head or an unk like me, this is immediately pulling up memories of a video that, funnily enough, was actually partially pirated. I believe it was the music in this video was pirated, so that's the reason they stopped playing it. But the video I'm referring to is this one right here.
here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Again, if I spend my hard-earned human dollars to buy a game, a movie, a book, a song, etc., ad nauseum, and then it turns out I did not buy it, I did not own it, I just had the ability to access it, and they can take that away at any time for almost any reason, I don't care if it's getting pirated. You brought that on yourself with your predatory practices. This is not a problem that we used to have in the old days. This is a future problem.
Future's now, old man.
It's very much giving, you will own nothing, you will eat the bugs, and you will be happy. But I am not happy. Now, I understand how we've gotten to this point. It is by convenience. Getting up, walking across your living room, swapping out a disc to play a different game is a minor inconvenience compared to just digitally scrolling through your library and picking one. Although that does require a lot more storage space. But is this era of instant gratification, of smooth, seamless transition and convenience that we're seeking after, which is enslaving us to the point of not even owning our media? I am a big advocate for physical media. I believe VHS tapes and DVDs are superior to Netflix or the 30,000 other different streaming services, which will still run ads if you buy. You're literally paying. Okay, that is a slight gripe that I have. If you are paying for the streaming service, why are you getting ads? If it's a free streaming service and they give you ads, they basically reinvented television, but fine. But if I'm going to go spend my hard-earned human dollars, which I don't do anymore, for one of these streaming services, and then I'm shown ads because I don't want to pay for the more expensive streaming service, the premium package of that service. No, that is dumb. That is bad. I am not spending extra money to avoid ads, which I shouldn't have to deal with in the first place, when every single year you jack the prices up. Netflix used to be, back in the day, Netflix used to mail you a disc with all the different movies or TV shows you wanted downloaded onto it. And when you were done, you'd send the disc back. Then they started digitally streaming, and it was only a few bucks a month. And then it was like $7 a month, then $8 a month. Now you're getting up into the teens and $20 a month for a streaming service that on the cheaper end, you have to watch ads. On the more expensive end, you don't watch the ads. But you're paying out the nose for a service that you probably aren't using that much. They will give you tons of options. I remember I used to spend more time looking for something to watch or reading through the descriptions than actually watching something. And that's assuming that what you want to watch is actually on there, and more importantly, stays on there for you to watch it when you're actually ready to. You want to know how to avoid all that? You simply get up, walk across the room to your DVD collection or your VHS collection, grab the thing that you own that you could watch as many times as you want, whenever you want, regardless of if the internet is connected or not, plug it in, and watch it. The same thing goes for physical games. If you have your physical game, it doesn't matter if the internet's on, it doesn't matter if you're at your buddy's house and put it into a different console, the game will still load up. Now, some DLC things may not be accessible, but the base game for whatever it is that you've purchased, you should be able to play. But that's inconvenient to the big mega corporations, and more importantly, their shareholders. It seems like a bitter pill to swallow right now. Oh, I spend 60, 80, 120 bucks for the digital right to play this game that's in my library, hopefully forever. But that's how it starts. Once they've got everybody on board with getting rid of physical games to where it's digital only and you're forced to buy their little one-time subscriptions, they will then slowly start to roll out micro subscriptions. You spend your $60, $80, $120 for a digital game, which, side tangent, it's a digital game, it should be cheaper than physical games because the company does not have to produce the cost of, all the plastic casing, all the actual discs and the artwork, all the shipping and logistics. All those costs are non-existent for digital games, so digital games should be considerably cheaper. But side tangent over. You spend your money, you buy the game, you quote-unquote buy the game, you buy the rights to the game, and then they're going to start implementing micro subscriptions. Oh, you really like to play Borderlands 4 on Friday nights. Premium pricing or dynamic pricing or however they're going to sell you it. Sell you it. They're basically going to hold you at gunpoint digitally. You're going to have to pay them a micro subscription of $5 a month to continue having access to this game in your library because of servers or storage space or cloud storage, which that's a big one. They are going to get you with cloud storage. And the reason for that is necessity is the mother of invention. You see, when it comes to game design and you have a physical game, you have very limited storage space. I actually talked about this in my Pokemon Fire Red Nuzlocke that I had done. When you get to the cave that has Articuno, they were running tight on space for the game, but they wanted an icy cave. If you look carefully, all the rock textures, the flooring, the walls, all the assets there are the same as in other caves. But it looks different because all they did was shift the color palette to be a light bluish. So those boulders that normally look like brown rocks shifted light blue to look like icy rocks. They had to get creative to make sure they could fit as much content in a limited space. It forced them to actually think and work harder to make their game more compact to give you more bang for your buck. Compared to things like GTA 6, where they have definitely got a whole lot going on. There's a ton of content in the game. They've been working on it for ages. But you're going to need to have, at minimum, 100 gigabytes of space on your device in order to download the base game. 100 gigabytes. That is a ludicrous amount of space that is required. And it's probably not going to get any better once everything goes all digital and they can just start making bigger and bigger games. Now, on the surface, that sounds really great. Wow, bigger games. Imagine how much more immersive or open world or great they're going to be. But then you look at something like Skyrim, or Elder Scrolls, or any of the older games, The Witcher, the Red Dead Redemption 2, quote-unquote older games. These games were able to fit immersive stories, incredible artwork, scenic, like overlooking mountaintops, huge maps, and they were much more compact than 100 gigabytes or more, which we're going to see in the future. Now, unless your future generation consoles are coming with 10, 20 terabytes worth of space, which I don't see that coming anytime soon, you're going to be downloading, uploading, deleting old games to make room for new ones. Or they're going to be like, hey, we've noticed that you've exceeded 70% of your console's storage capabilities. Your performance may slow, and you may not be able to play or download certain games. But if you just spend the $5.99 to access our cloud storage system, you can have so much more storage, and you'll be able to play games faster and smoother. They're going to start throttling games. They're going to start creating games that are larger so you're incentivized to start paying for their cloud services. On top of already paying for $100 a month, it's not in a month, sorry. Oh, it might get there. $100 a year for online services, whatnot, to actually play. Like the Xbox Gold, or I think they changed it to Xbox Live. I pay $25 or $24.99 every 3 months. So every quarter of the year, or 4 times in a year, I pay $25, which comes out to $100 a year to have online play and all that stuff. But they might start implementing a $5 or $10 a month online cloud storage thing that is separate, or maybe a bundle deal with it. So you're paying a little bit more than you normally do, but you can download these bigger games that they're not forced to try and be compact, because they can now take up space and even are incentivized to make the games a little bit bigger. Maybe not necessarily better, but to make them large enough that it makes the player put into a position where they either A, have to delete other games, or B, have to pay for the extra storage space. Most people don't even own their music anymore. I know I got sucked into Spotify a while back, and then they started raising their prices higher and higher. But it was so nice and convenient to have access to all the different musics and to learn so many new musics. I do still look at Spotify or Apple Music or things like that more positively, but I do not still support them fully. I'm only 1 foot in on their kind of good. The other foot is I want physical copies of all the songs I like, because you never know. I mean, they could also be changing things. We've seen countless Mandela effects. But just recently I was listening to Michael Jackson's They Don't Care About Us song, and there was an artificially produced record scratch over 2 of his words. And then I was like, well, maybe that's just a Spotify thing, or that's a different iteration of the song, so I looked it up on YouTube. Same thing. 2 words, Jew and then the racial slur used for Jews, were both scratched out so they couldn't be heard in the song. If you had a physical disc with his song on it, you could still hear the original unedited version. But now when you try to look it up, it has been corrupted. And that's just one example. If you don't own a physical backup of something, they could change it and you might not ever know. The actor Keanu Reeves saw a CGI tear that was added onto his face in one of his movies, that he'd never cried in that movie, so he got a very uncanny valley kind of feeling. It was upsetting for him. So he went to his agent and had it put into his contracts that they cannot digitally edit or change anything about him or his person in future movies. But what if they've been doing that and nobody has caught it because we don't have the physical backups or the copies? This could explain some iterations of the Mandela effect. Famous examples like who shot first, Han Solo or the alien. People who watch the more modern or recent iterations of the movies will see that the alien went to shoot first. But if you have the original VHS tapes from back in the day, you would see that Han actually shot first and they had changed that later. So if you didn't have one of those early copies, you would have seen a corrupted or altered version of the movie. But with the loss of physical media in movies, TV, music, and now video games, mostly through our own convenience, we are losing the accessibility to look back and reference things to make sure things haven't been changed, or to see that our digital keys have been removed from our access, so now we no longer own them. It seems like predatory practices, to say the least. There should be some kind of digital ownership rights for us, the people. And where does this begin and end? If we have, say, movies being restricted in one country, and we buy them on our device, go to that country for vacation, are we no longer able to watch the movie that we paid for and downloaded to our device? What about VPNs? How exactly are they going to monitor and police us and take away our abilities to watch things or play things? On top of that, monopolies are becoming such a big thing in streaming. You want to go and watch a movie or a TV show. Well, it's not on this streaming service, it's on another one. Or it's on the one that you just don't seem to have. And they're going to be $15 a month. But you only want to watch 1 or 2 things. You want to binge watch your favorite TV show, like The Office. Now, instead of just buying the DVDs for The Office and watching it anytime you want, lag-free if the internet is being glitchy, you have to go and pay a monthly subscription to have access to the right to watch it and hope that it's not taken away. Let us not forget the beautiful practice of planned obsolescence. iPhone is notorious for this. Every time they do those big updates before they release a brand new iPhone, all the older ones suddenly overheat or become laggy or the battery sucks. I've seen a ton of people complaining already that the iPhone 13 is suddenly just dying on them because they gave it a system update for security and whatnot, and suddenly all these performance issues are coming. So they're going to be forced to upgrade to the newest one. We all know that Apple is doing it, which is one of the reasons I want to get out of Apple products with the next cell phones that I get. This planned obsolescence isn't just for things like microwaves, refrigerators, iPhones. No, it goes beyond that, including streaming services or digitally purchased things. One of the biggest things are digitally purchased books on Amazon tablets or Kindles, I think it was. People had tons of books on there. They could read them at any time, and then Amazon just kind of shut that down. They're like, your devices are going to die. We're tired of providing these services that you made a one-time purchase and you have access to this. It's not good for our business model. You can upgrade to a new device and have a monthly subscription access to things, but you're no longer going to have a digital library of things that you've purchased and own. Permanently bricking your device that you paid for if you factory reset it. Losing everything, that all the books that you have paid for, all your library worth of stuff. Forcing you to upgrade. If they did it with that, and we've seen Nintendo bring about digital keys to games instead of owning games, And now PlayStation is pushing for no physical games at all of any kind. It's only a matter of time until the entire industry takes on these predatory practices and we lose pretty much all of our rights as gamers. We're losing them in this form of media, that form of media. It's happening all around us. The digital noose is tightening. If you do not own physical media, you're going to end up having the ability to get locked out or having things taken from you. This is why I fully believe that if buying isn't owning, piracy isn't theft. Because no, I wouldn't steal a purse, and I wouldn't steal a car. But I absolutely, allegedly, would commit piracy. I do not see anything morally or legally wrong with it when these are the practices that are being done on us as consumers. But that's my 2 cents on it, and I've barely even touched on the half the things that are going on with GTA 6. Mainly because I've seen a ton of clickbait and I haven't been able to actually take the time to see if it is true things that I'm reading or if it's just people saying something inflammatory or blowing it out of proportions. So I'll probably talk more on GTA 6 at a later date. Probably after it comes out so I can see what's actually true and not. Sorry about the audio quality change. My microphone just died and my backup mic was apparently dead this whole time. That's what I get for not charging them on the regular. But let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this. Am I just being an old head complaining that we don't have physical things like the generation before me was like, we need 8-track tapes and vinyl records? Or do I have some solid points? Maybe I'm just being paranoid, and I think the worst of these corporations. I would love to know you guys' thoughts and opinions.
Yo ho, all hands, hoist the colors high. Heave ho, thieves and beggars, never shall we die.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the flip side.